And coming up this morning, government finally agrees to far-reaching measures with approved expedited payments to cocoa farmers and sweeping reforms at Cocoa Board. Also coming up, Ghana's former High Commissioner to Nigeria, Baba Jamal, officially files nomination to contest 3rd March Ayawaso East by-election after internal probe by NDC over alleged vote buying during party's 7th February parliamentary primary. We have the details of these stories coming up shortly. Please don't go away. Sincere appreciation to you for choosing GHOne News. After a lengthy emergency cabinet meeting over challenges in the cocoa industry, government has arrived at far-reaching measures to avert what could possibly deepen the challenges. Addressing journalists after the high-level session, the Minister of State in charge of government communications, Felix Kwachu, said the cabinet has agreed on expedited payments to cocoa farmers, sweeping reforms at Cocoa Board, and bold structural challenges aimed at shifting Ghana from exporting raw beans to significantly expanding domestic cocoa processing.
At the end of the emergency session, decisive measures have been agreed upon regarding expedited payments of cocoa farmers, regarding the implementation of the most drastic reforms in the cocoa sector, with a view to achieving quantum leaps in domestic processing of cocoa as opposed to export of raw materials, and various reforms to be carried out at Cocoa Board in order to ensure more effective administration and management of the cocoa sector. Now, at 11 a.m. tomorrow, the Finance Minister will address the people of Ghana and announce these far-reaching measures as agreed upon at the end of the cabinet meeting today.
Now, former Ghana's High Commissioner to Nigeria, Mohammed Baba Jamal, has officially filed his nomination to contest the 3rd March Ayawaso East by-election just hours before the Electoral Commission's deadline. His decision comes after days of scrutiny and an internal NDC investigation into alleged vote-buying allegations during the party's 7th February parliamentary primary. After reviewing the committee's report, the NDC's Functional Executive Committee declared him to contest. The party explained that its constitution does not allow the primary to be annulled and cited time constraints ahead of the EC's deadline in confirming him as the candidate. There's more in the following report.
Clad in white and welcomed by loud cheers from party faithfuls, Baba Jamal arrived at the Greater Accra Regional Office of the Electoral Commission to file his nomination for the Ayawaso East by-election. Supporters thronged the premises in solidarity as the former High Commissioner to Nigeria completed the process without incident. This comes just a week after he faced public scrutiny over allegations of distributing television sets and motorbikes during the party's parliamentary primaries. The claims led to his recall from his diplomatic post in Nigeria and triggered an internal party probe into suspected inducement. Speaking to the media after filing his nomination, Baba Jamal struck a tone of gratitude and resolve, thanking the president for the opportunity to serve the country and his fans for their show of solidarity.
Let me start first by thanking Almighty Allah for taking me through this very, very difficult time and bringing me this far. I also want to extend my thanks, sincere thanks to the President of the Republic of Ghana, John Dramani Mahama, for finding me worthy of going to Nigeria to represent our country. I want to also thank the National Chairman and the General Secretary and all FEC members for their support and decision to maintain me as the parliamentary candidate for this by-election.
His supporters insist the recent controversy will not dent the NDC's strength in the constituency.
So Even the controversy gave him this exposure. Yes. Because yesterday when he came, everybody was saying, how is it, how is this going? So everybody was eager. Yes. Yeah. It gave exposure.
So that the election is internal election. If you a house election, no matter how big be the case, one person has win. You understand? But at the end of the day, we thank God Almighty, Alhamdulillah, Baba Jamal has win, or Baba Jamal has won. Because of what? Because the Electoral Commission has declared him as a victorious at the polling center. Everybody accepted, those who lost accepted that we have lost, and who want to accept that I've won. So what again? You know, no matter how may be the case, there must be a virus anywhere.
Yes.
I think you understand me. So the virus try to eat up, you know, the program in the system. So we have the antivirus, then we work with them to pull them out.
Baba Jamal is the one. You know, I also is for NDC. Once the umbrella is there, Baba Jamal will win hands down. Because I also it's an NDC. Everybody knows that's a stronghold. Anybody that comes, whether independent candidates or whatever, or MPP, cannot compete with us.
With nominations officially closed and campaign activities expected to intensify, attention now turns to March 3 polls, where voters in Ayawaso East will decide whether to reaffirm the party's grip on the seat.
Well, in a related development, the Inter-Party Advisory Committee has reached a consensus on the modalities for the upcoming Ayawaso East by-election. Now, the Electoral Commission, together with representatives of political parties, met to finalize arrangements ahead of the election. Key issues discussed included security deployment, voter verification processes, polling station logistics, and the collation of results. Addressing journalists after the meeting, representatives of the NPP and NDC expressed optimism about winning the Ayawaso East by-election.
As usual, for the Ayawaso East by-election. And I can assure you, we've agreed to all their processes they have laid out in terms of the printing the ballot papers and then deployment of the party agents. We've agreed that we are going to deploy 2 party agents at a time for each of the polling stations. Ideally, it's supposed to be 1-1 because parliamentary election, but because it's just a restricted parliamentary election, they've given us that opportunity that we deploy 2 party agents for each of the polling stations. We are ready. We have filed our candidate today. As we speak now, we have officially filed. We are going to win. Our aim is to increase the margin. I mean, that is what we are going in. It's not about winning. It's about increasing the margin. We got the last time we were 22,000 plus. We are expecting to go further, at least to about 25,000 more, because of the good work of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and what the party is doing for the good people of Ayawaso and all that. So we are expecting a very massive win. We're thinking our opponents will just chicken out. I mean, naturally, because it's not a place for them to come and waste anybody's time. But since they are coming, let them come. We'll give them the heaviest defeats in their life as a political party. So we are ready for it, and we are sure we are going to win.
The new patriotic party is going to win Ayawaso East by-election with our candidate Baba Ali. And we are all here and we say that it's a constituency who will win this time around. And so I'm putting it to you. Be there in your numbers, but let's also ensure that the EC will conduct peaceful and fair elections. We call on all stakeholders, especially the police, to ensure that there's peace in this process. We don't want to see what happened in the PTR.
The former Speaker of Parliament, Professor Michael Aaron Okoye, is urging young people entering politics to adopt a strong nationalistic approach in the fight against illegal mining, free from partisan considerations. He argues that issues which undermine national development should never be politicized, stressing that the harmful effects put across political affiliations. Professor Michael Okoye made these remarks at the sensitization workshop for young and aspiring politicians organized by Ghana in partnership with the European Network of Political Foundations.
The European Union's Women and Youth Democratic Engagement Initiative is aimed at boosting the participation of young people and women in democratic processes, public life, and political leadership globally. The program focuses on breaking political, legal, and cultural barriers and serves as a flagship initiative under the EU Youth Action Plan. Speaking at the workshop, former Speaker of Parliament, Professor Aaron Michael Quay, stressed the need to depoliticize critical national issues such as health and illegal mining, noting that their impact cuts across all segments of society.
Women empowerment as a whole is not a matter of one political party or the other. If you look at the participation of women in Parliament, and that in the global order that was prepared by the IPU, we are at the bottom. But I'm saying it has no political color, and the young people must come together, notwithstanding the political divide, and have a stand on it.
In his address, the European Union ambassador to Ghana, His Excellency Rune Skinebach, lamented the continued exclusion of young people from policy formulation and decision-making by political actors and called for a fundamental shift in approach.
Young people care deeply or should care deeply about politics, democracy, and their communities. Yet too often, youth are left outside decision-making. That has to change. If we want a strong, inclusive, and democratic community, society, whether in Africa or Europe, young people must not just be invited to the table, you must be at the very center of the action.
CAS Ghana country representative Anna Wasafo highlighted the importance of nurturing and building the capacity of young people in the political space to adequately prepare them for future leadership roles.
The EU-wide project addresses this challenge in a very targeted and very practical way. It combines capacity building, targeted mentoring, and networking. From our perspective, it is exactly this combination that is very crucial for success. We all know that true participation and true leadership do not emerge from isolated training activities. They require role models, they require institutional openness, and the opportunity to learn directly from experience.
The White Project edition in the country is themed Empowering Young Emerging Political Leaders in Ghana.
The Member of Parliament for Krachi West, Helen Ajoa Ntoso, is urging government, civil society organizations, and the Volta River Authority to provide life jackets for residents who depend on boat transport across the Volta Lake. Her appeal follows a tragic incident on 14th October last year when a boat carrying about 20 passengers from Okuma to Debume in the Krachi West municipality capsized mid-lake.
16 passengers drowned, while only 4 survived. Speaking on the floor of Parliament, the Member of Parliament for Krachi West, Helen Ajoa Ntoso, has called for an urgent need for adequate safety measures to prevent further loss of lives among residents who depend on lake transport.
Mr. Speaker, this painful tragedy serves as yet another reminder of the urgent need to enforce strict safety standards on our waterways. We must ensure that boats are not overloaded, that operators are properly trained and licensed, and that every passenger wears a life jacket before boarding. I wish to once again make a passionate appeal to the government, corporate organizations, benevolent individuals, and NGOs to come to the aid of the people of Krachi West.
Member of Parliament for Bandai, Martin Yendam, also urged the Minister of Transport and the Volta River Authority to urgently address these challenges faced by residents in lake communities.
The Ministry of Transport and the Volta Lake Authority pay very less attention to people who travel by the lake. The authorities see them, they look at them unconcerned, but when disaster like this comes up, Mr. Speaker, we'll be here to make statements, we'll be here to complain. Authorities will go in, donate 1 or 2 things, and then that ends the story.
The Minority Chief Whip and MP for Nsawam Adwejiri, Frank Anodompre, expressed concern over the inadequate provision of life jackets in these areas, calling on authorities to track and resolve the issue once and for all.
Facilities we have on these water bodies don't have life jackets. Don't have life jackets, and they are basic facilities that should be found on these facilities. So it's not a matter we have to belabor. We should be revolving around reasons why life jackets and such safety measures cannot be upheld. Because no one can ever justify why these safety measures are not upheld on these transport facilities. And we keep losing lives every now and then. So I think the duty bearers would have to respond to this matter.
Member of Parliament for Buem and Minister for Sports and Recreation, Kofi Idi Adams, emphasized the need for the formalization of water transport systems and enhanced safety protocols on the Volta Lake to ensure commuter protection.
The boats that they use are so outmoded and are not waterworthy. Speaker, in the same way that we take our vehicles to DVLA checkpoints, examination points, for these vehicles to be examined for renewal of what? Licenses and roadworthiness. Same must apply to the boats, so that there's a system to check whether these boats that use to carry persons from one point to the other are truly waterworthy, just like we do for vehicles.
The Narcotics Control Commission says it will soon begin licensing the cultivation of medicinal and industrial cannabis in Ghana following Parliament's approval of the regulatory framework. In a press statement issued and signed by the Acting Director of Public Affairs and Francis Opoku Amwa, the Commission clarified that only qualified entities will be granted licenses. It stressed that the policy permits the cultivation of cannabis with a THC content of not exceeding 0.3% and strictly for medicinal and industrial purposes. Recreational issue of cannabis remains illegal. The Commission is urging prospective applicants to engage directly with NACOC through its Cannabis Regulatory Department and to avoid individuals or groups claiming to facilitate the licensing process. It further emphasized that only official approved procedures will be recognized. Now, a routine police checkpoint operation in the Oti region has exposed what officers believe is a major drug trafficking attempt. Suspected smugglers bolted after police intercepted a long trailer truck allegedly loaded with marijuana at the Dambai police barrier.
A routine security check at the Dambai police barrier turned dramatic when officers intercepted a long trailer truck suspected of carrying large quantities of marijuana. The truck, marked Tom Winter and registered GW1943-09, was stopped for screening, and officers became suspicious during questioning of the driver and his assistant. A search revealed parcels of dry leaves believed to be marijuana hidden beneath empty containers inside the truck. The driver abandoned the vehicle and fled, while his associate was arrested and is assisting police with investigations. The truck has been impounded at the Dambai barrier as authorities work to trace the fleeing suspect and determine the origin and destination of the drugs. Police say investigations are ongoing, underscoring their growing vigilance in the fight against drug trafficking and organized crime.
We have more news lined up for you on starfm.com.gh. Do all to tune in. I am El-Nurein Abass. Many thanks to you for tuning in. Next on your screen is Joshua Kojo Mensah with Day Today.